Hey, you! I need you to hit the subscribe button below.
Teach you to turn that thing up.
Shalom, Israel, Most High Christ bless. You are now tuned in to the Natives Hour, home of the 10 tribes. Hey, are we good? Why we gotta,
The world is in sin.
My bad. Come on, y'all. Get us right.
We're good.
Get us right, man. Get us right.
Right.
All praise to the Most High. So thank y'all for tuning in. So today's show is going to be, who are you, man?
Hey,
who the hell are you?
I'm Officer Uriah. Hey, shalom.
I'm Cat the Cat, man. Shalom, man.
Pleasure to meet you.
Most High Christ bless. So for those that don't know, today's show, we're going to talk about something that's been going on in the news with the discoveries of what happened to the so-called Native American people that God calls Gad. God don't call you Native Indian. God don't call you savage, but God calls you Gad. Let me get that real quick. Like Deuteronomy 28, real quick. This show is dedicated to you so-called Native Indians. And then Esau, I'm going to tell you, the white man's the devil, man.
Yep.
Esau tried to cover everything up.
Yeah.
You don't see this stuff. What we about to bring out, you don't see this stuff in the history books.
At all.
You don't see this stuff, you having Thanksgiving turkey and yams and sauerkraut.
Come on, man.
You don't read about this stuff that happened to the so-called Native American Indians.
Real.
You don't read about this stuff.
Hell no.
Watch this. Give me the book of Deuteronomy chapter 20, verse 49.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 49.
Go ahead.
Bring it out.
The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth,
Go ahead.
as swift as the eagle.
The eagle represents the white man. In this instance, in this history timeline, is talking about your neighborhood friendly white American man.
Yep.
That's what it's talking about. You know,
As swift as the eagle lion.
as swift as the eagle. That's their representation. That's their image. Read on.
A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand.
So the Lord is setting this thing up. The Lord is letting us know a nation was going to come upon us who would consider themselves the eagle. Their image, their symbol would be the representation of an eagle. And not only would it be an eagle, but the Lord said you wouldn't even understand their language.
Right.
Read on.
A nation of fierce countenance.
This nation was going to be fierce. This nation was going to be warriors. This nation was going to live by the sword. Like you read in Genesis, fierce countenance. It was going to live by death, live by war. Read on.
Which shall not regard the person of the old.
They didn't give a damn about how old you were.
Nor show favor to the young.
And we're going to listen, we're going to read instances of how this white man didn't give a damn about how old you were. Didn't give a damn about if you was 2 years old, 3 years old, 80 years old. They didn't care. Read on.
What the hell is that?
That's it. All right, so let's get right to it because we got a lot to get to today. Let's get right to it. Go ahead and play the video.
And I did. I really did. She said, she's going to leave you. She's going to leave if you don't go see her. So at that time, I knew that she would go.
Check. So this is called Canada's Dark Secret. Canada's Dark Secret. This is a documentary in Canada. See, I remember we was on Clubhouse one time, and a sister in Canada was saying that there's not as much racism in Canada as it is in America. And the captains and the officers had to let her know, sis, it's the same white man. See, Canada's racism is hidden. What was it called? It's
covered up.
It's covered up.
Swept under the rug.
It's swept under the rug.
Right.
But America's racism is in your face. I will punch you, nigga.
Right.
Right. Canada's racism is swept under the old boarding schools.
Right.
Oh, well, we're going to get into it. We're going to get into it. Let's go.
Then things just kind of came back, and I just like tears. I took off running up those stairs. And I went and sat on my mother. And at that time, all I did was cry. I just cried and cried. And it wasn't because I didn't want to see her. I loved her. It was just so hurtful to have to part with her again. Because my mother was, like, she was a really good mother, you know.
Not much to say about good times here. They're all overridden by the bad. The bad is enormous. There's a tremendous amount of evil that went on here.
So the whole institution itself was run by fear. So it was very regimented, more like a military style. You lined up for everything. Lined up for your meals. You lined up to go to school. You lined up to go to church. It was just like that. Follow that routine, and you would be okay if you followed and didn't break the rules, you know. So you learn to follow the rules.
I didn't have the freedom as a child or as a young teenager. I was always kind of under the supervision of somebody. But we got up about 6 o'clock, and we were sent down to called the playroom. And it was always cold in the basement. Early in the morning, still a lot of chill in the air, and yet they put us in a big cement room, and we had to keep warm however we could. We learned all kinds of farm work. I worked on a farm so long that I picked up a certain discipline where hard work would get me where I'm going.
And I think at some point there was somebody here that, I don't know if it was a kid or a supervisor, told me I would never leave here. You know, so that really stuck in my mind that I was going to be in this place forever. You're isolated. All you see is this world around you. This is it. That was my world. I didn't learn about all those other things that were going on until my adult life. I didn't know there was all those other residential schools. I don't think anybody in Canada knew that much. So it was kept very secretive. And yet when you start to look at every residential school across Canada, you find the same things.
And I came to the Mohawk Institute when I was about 6 or 7 years old. And I spent 6 years here. I was picked up on an Indian reserve at Moravian Town, and walking on a road. We were going to visit my grandmother one day, a nice July day back in 1955. There was 4 of us and 1 girl, my sister. And we came over that little rise over there, and we were heading down here. And a black car pulled alongside of us. And we didn't know who it was at the time. The driver said, "Would you like a ride there?" We said no, we didn't know who they were. We kept on walking, and they kept pace with us in their car. And they kept trying to get us to get in. And we refused for a couple hundred yards that way. And they offered us some ice cream and Jell-O at the restaurant in Thamesville. And I had ice cream. After we finished, we all loaded back up into the car. But they never went back the way they came. They went around away from the reserve. I fell asleep. And I never woke up until we were coming up to the Mohawk Institute. But after I got old enough, I realized I was kidnapped. Like I said, my dad didn't know. The Department of Indian Affairs and the churches, they didn't care how they got the children here.
It says many of the children who attended residential schools were taken by force or were kidnapped by government officials. I want y'all to pay attention to this. This is what went down. Were kidnapped by government officials. Play on. Stop. Parents who withheld their children or who tried to remove them from the schools faced arrest and imprisonment.
Damn!
So if you kidnap my child, if I try to get my child back, I could face prison.
Yep.
How does that work?
Right.
How? That's some evil stuff, man.
Like how you were saying in the scripture where it says, don't show favor to the young, nor regard the person of the old. They
That's
don't give a damn.
evil
They don't
stuff.
give a damn.
Get that. Deuteronomy 28, verse 32. That's some evil stuff, man.
Yep.
Pick children up. Pick children up. The government, we gotta understand something, right? We gotta understand something. The government just don't do things on the limb. That means they sat together, and just like we read in Psalms 83,
Yep. Crafty counsel.
they came up with a plan to not kill the so-called Native Indians openly like their forefathers did. Their forefathers was killing them openly.
Right.
So he said, you know, we got to come together. We got to make up a plan so that we can kill their spirit, but keep them for labor. So that's why they say, you know what? We're going to make these boarding schools, and we're going to kidnap them. We're going to torture them. We're going to do everything we need to do to kill off that native savagery spirit,
Yep.
but keep the man. Read that, verse 32.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, and verse 32.
Bring it out.
Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people.
So when we read this, thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, we wasn't willingly giving our sons and daughters to other people. Our sons and daughters would be kidnapped and then given to another people. You gotta understand that. Just like we looking at right now.
Right.
Him and his sister was kidnapped walking to their grandmother's house, right? They were kidnapped, taken to a boarding school, given to a Christian group. Wait a minute. What? So Christianity condones kidnapping. Christianity condones killing, murder, bloodshed,
Theft.
Right, theft. That's what Christianity condones. Let's go back. We got a lot to get through. Let's push through it.
I believe it was February, about 2 years ago. I was on the Board of Sessions at Chisholm United Church, Chisholm Township. It's about 5 miles. And my first Board of Sessions meeting, in fact, 2 other members and the minister and myself. The minister was going through the agenda that we were to talk about, and she mentioned the residential school system. All of a sudden, I started to shake, broke down crying. No idea why. I didn't know what this was about at all. I ended up going to my doctor and for some help for depression, and he referred me to a psychologist, and took her probably 20 minutes to determine that the biggest part of my problem was from that incident 50 years earlier. I was stationed there in the RCMP. We had a territorial jail there, which most times I was a jail guard at night. And this day shift, I happened to be assigned to whatever came on through the door. It would be sometime between November of 64 and April 65. On a day shift, I was assigned to assist an agent from the residential school system to pick up 2 children from a family in Fort Smith, the Northwest Territories. I went to the door of this home. The woman who lived there knew why we were there. She knew that her two daughters were being sent to residential schools. The mother was crying, both children were crying, probably 6 and 8 years old. And I took the 6-year-old from her arms, actually, and turned them over to the agent. He jumped in his car and took off to the airport, and that was basically the end of it. I never saw them. I don't remember the children's names, but I'll never forget their cries.
Pause it. Read verse 32 again.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 32.
Bring it out.
Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people.
Read on.
And thine eyes
Thine eyes. Thine eyes. When it says thine eyes shall look, is going into your attachment. That emotional attachment that you have with someone that is so strong that when they leave, it's like, damn, I want them to come back.
Right.
I can't wait for them to come. It's like when
desire them.
Right. It's a desire. It's like when a father leaves his home, his kids is like, okay, I can't wait for daddy to come back home. Right. That's that eye, that longing, that attachment. Bring it out.
Looking at the front door, waiting for you to come back.
Waiting.
He coming back at this time. Anytime now.
Read it again.
It's crazy.
Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people.
Go ahead.
And thine eyes shall look.
Thine eyes shall look.
And fail with longing.
And fail. So that means you are looking for something that is never going to appear. Right. You are looking for your sons and daughters to come back. That emotional attachment is telling you they're going to come back.
Right.
But that emotional attachment is failing you because they will never come back.
Damn.
They would never come back. I can't imagine that feeling, man.
Underlying stress, depression,
everything.
All that comes
suicidal thoughts, alcoholism, drugs,
addiction.
Everything, man. You turn to hate yourself. These are curses that God put on the Israelites for our disobedience. This ain't no coincidence. We read this is a thing God planned.
Right.
The Lord ain't playing. The Lord ain't played with us. When he said this was going to happen, it happened to the fullest. Read.
And fail with longing for them all the day long.
All the day long, 24/7. From sun up to sundown, you was crying for your babies. You was praying for your baby. You was longing like, okay, maybe today they'll come home. It's just like the movie Color Purple.
Right.
I don't know if y'all ever seen the movie Color Purple. At the end, Celie sees her children that were sent off. And she's like, whoa, like these are my kids? And the joy, the excitement, the strength.
Right. Emotional attachment.
The emotional attachment, like, oh, these are mine. You got to imagine how our foremothers felt, man, during these times. Our mothers, our grandmothers, our fathers, to have their baby snatched from their hands and they could do nothing about it.
The hell is this?
Some of y'all have killed somebody for kidnapping your dog.
Right.
Some of y'all have put up $1 million rewards to get a dog back that has ran away or that has been kidnapped.
Right.
It's a damn search for the dog. But imagine for your child. Imagine not just one child, all your children gone. Read.
And there shall be no might in thine hand.
And there should be no might in your hand. We didn't have no might, no military might, no economical might. We didn't have no structured might within ourselves.
Right.
We didn't have none of that. All of this happened because of our sin. But in these last days, the Lord is revealing this man. I read the Thessalonians, the man of sin must be revealed.
That's right. Man of perdition.
The Lord is revealing this thing, y'all. Just pray y'all paying attention. Let's go. Go back.
And see this, if you don't mind, Kat, let me touch on this real quick. Give me verse 19 real quick, because this for those that say, well, racism is in America. We should leave. We can go to Canada and it'll be much better there. I heard it's much more docile. Read verse 19.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, and verse 19.
Bring it out.
Cursed shalt thou be when thou comest in,
Read on.
and cursed shalt thou be when thou goest out.
It don't matter where you go. Those curses following you. It don't matter where you go.
Yeah, it don't matter. And then it said, cursed, your generation was going to be cursed.
Right.
So even during those times of the 1800s till now, 2000,
right.
we going through the same exact curses, man.
Yep.
We going through the same exact atrocities.
Right.
It's just been covered up with a suit,
Yep.
a police uniform, a doctor's robe,
Right.
a judge robe. It's been covered up. Now, brothers and sisters don't think they curved because they can make $90,000 a year. They can make $100,000 a year, $200, $1 million a year. So we think we ain't cursed no more.
Yep. It don't apply.
It don't apply.
It don't apply.
If it don't apply, let it fly.
Right. hey, watch this. Verse 46. Real quick. Watch this.
Verse 46. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever.
So these curses that we're going through, just like Cap was saying, all the way back in the 1950s and things like that, it's still happening today. It's still going on to the day in 2000s. They're going to be upon us. These are breadcrumbs that was left by the Most High to show you who you really are according to the Bible.
Yep. You know why? Because it say, and it should be for a sign.
Yep.
A sign. Meaning God's people would always have a connection back to the understanding of Deuteronomy 28.
Right.
We would always be connected. Whether you rich, poor, low class, middle class, high class, dumbass, you would always have a connection based off your condition back to the Bible.
So the white man can't do that. Chinese man can't do that. Russians can't do. Nobody else can do that. But the so-called blacks and Hispanics.
That's it. That's it. Your signs, your oppression proves who you are.
Right.
Let's go.
All praise.
At the time, I didn't like the idea of taking kids away from their family. It bothered me. And of course, being in the RCMP, I had no alternative. Couldn't complain about it. The only thing I knew about the Indian residential schools was a place where they could get formal education. I didn't see any problems with it. Since then, I've come to realize what they were about. No differently now. And that's part of the story that I want to tell. It took up maybe 5 minutes of my life. And I buried it back in 64, 65. And about 50 years later, it came back to haunt me here in Powassan.
We were sitting at this very spot. I'm not sure if it was exactly the same table, but we were sitting at this very spot at a board meeting. You remember, Ron, you were on the board at the time, and the board at that time had decided that they wanted to study this book called A Healing Journey for Us All. And part of that took us into residential schools. Well, let me say first clearly that I think the residential school history within Canada is one of the greatest tragedies, if not the greatest tragedy in our whole history as a country. It's the damage that's been done.
Bruh, stop. Bruh, give me that Jeremiah 50. Ain't no coincidence. Canada say their greatest tragedy was the oppression of Native American Indians, right?
Right.
America's greatest tragedy was the oppression of the so-called African Americans.
Right. Yep.
Spain's greatest tragedy was the oppression of the so-called Hispanics.
Right.
So you gotta understand, ain't no coincidence, y'all.
Right.
The greatest tragedies to happen in the whole planet involves blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians.
Bring it out. Dang.
That's the greatest tragedy that involve us. Every country's greatest atrocities came at the murder, rob, rape, pillage of God's people. Give me that Jeremiah 50:33.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 50 and verse 33.
Read.
Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah
Go ahead.
were oppressed together.
We was oppressed together, and we still been oppressed together.
Right.
We still been oppressed together. And this is what we don't understand. Our oppression is identical, which makes us the same people. Read it again.
Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together.
God says we oppressed together. Canada, greatest atrocities involves Native Indians.
Right.
America, greatest atrocities involve black folks. Spain, Europe, Britain, greatest atrocities involve so-called Hispanics. Africa, greatest atrocities involve God's people.
Yep.
The scattered.
Yep.
Portuguese.
Diaspora, yep.
Portugal, greatest atrocities involves the so-called Hispanics down in South America.
Bring it out. You know what's crazy? They like to attribute the greatest atrocities in the world to those people pretending to be y'all in Israel today.
Yeah. They ain't go through this.
All right, they go through.
Nobody else went through this. What boarding school? What law? What national law was made to change a Chinese man to what did it say? To kill the Chinese but save the man.
Right.
What? please, somebody inform us.
It wasn't there.
What national law was put into place to kill the Russian but save the man?
Right.
Kill the Japanese but save the man. No other race of people was put into that category of kill the Indian, save the man.
Hell no.
Yep.
What people?
That concept was put on both the natives and the blacks.
And the blacks and the so-called
and the
Hispanics.
That's crazy. There's not a nation on the earth that could fit your shoes.
Not one.
Not one.
Let's go.
To so many lives, and the damage that it continues to be done and that will be felt generationally is just, it's beyond one. I mean, it's hard to even take it in.
Hey, real quick, go back like 20 seconds. Because this white woman said, I don't know if she's a so-called $5 Indian wannabe. I don't know. But what she's speaking is some facts right here. Play it. Watch this.
The greatest tragedies, if not the greatest tragedy in our whole history as a country. It's the damage that's been done to so many lives, and the damage that it continues to be done and that will be felt generationally.
Stop. She said the damage that was done and the damage that continues. That means, guess what? These white folks ain't learned.
Yep.
They still doing what their forefathers doing.
I hate
She
it
said
here.
it will be felt generationally. You know what it's called? Post-traumatic slave syndrome.
Yep.
It's being felt generationally.
There is no help for none of our generations that's been through what we've been through.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Go on.
It's crazy.
Is just, it's beyond one. I mean, it's hard to even take it in.
Pause it. The Mohawk Indian Residential School in Bradford, Ontario, operated from 1834. Bro, 1834 to 1969.
Come on now, dog.
Literally.
Come on, man.
Well, actually, the last boarding school that was closed was 1996.
Dang.
That's what?
The hell is this?
How many years is that? 14 years?
Nah,
That's less than 20 years ago. That means a lot of us was born while our brothers, the so-called Native American Indians, was still being slaughtered.
25 years.
25 years ago? The last boarding school was closed in 1996.
Dang.
Well, look at this. 1834 to 1969. How many years is that? That's what? That's over what? That's over 135? That's 135 years, bruh.
What?
I want you to understand something. That's 135 years
What in the hell?
that this Indian residential school was operating.
Damn.
And that's one school.
Right.
The mushy oatmeal that students were forced to eat all day led to the school being named the Mush Hole.
Come on now, dog.
You know what that sound like? Prison.
Yep.
That sound like prison.
Say
to me.
what? Yeah, I was just gonna say that
That
sounds
sound
like
like
a juvenile detention.
That sound like a juvenile detention. Yep, that's exactly what it is. They got to line up everywhere they go. They
Yep.
got to wear the same uniform, and they had to cut their hair.
I hate it here.
Don't get out of line, because if you get out of line, repercussions.
Oh, they got beat. Oh, we're going to go through it.
Repercussions.
Let's go. We're going to try to move through this a little bit more because we got a lot to get through. How much time on this?
Residential schools are schools that were set up by the government of Canada, and there are other countries that have the same thing, but it was a policy that was put into place to bring as many Indigenous people as possible into these schools, to educate them into the European way of life, to take you away from your culture, your language.
Hey, stop! Jesus!
Oh, Jay-Z.
Oh, Jay-Z!
Oh, Jay-Z.
Mezomi!
Dropping nuggets.
The lady said that they were brought in to educate them about European customs and take them away from their own customs. You know what God calls that? Assimilation.
Kill the Indian, save the man.
Kill the Indian, make them believe they're white. Go ahead, man. Because we can pull 1,000 scripts. I'm just trying to get through.
Your traditions. That's what it's about. In order to sever those ties in your culture and your language, they had to separate children from families and communities. We wore uniforms, you all dressed the same, you had your hair cut the same, you were all one.
And it was to assimilate us, to make sure we didn't have any Indian left in us when we finally left here. They took us to church every Sunday. We had to say prayers and things like that. We weren't allowed to talk in our language. We had to speak English. But it wasn't indoctrination. Like, they didn't put us in one room and indoctrinate us all day long or anything like that. It's just the way, the routine of the place. It was in the routine that you didn't speak anything but English. You went to white man's school. You went to white man's church. You wore the white man's clothes. All those were built in. It wasn't a classroom lecture kind of thing. It was.
I want y'all to pay attention to what the brother's saying. The brother, now see, for y'all dummies that be like, oh, the Native Americans ain't Israel. You crazy as hell. You don't see this brother saying, we went to the white man's school. We learned the white man's language. we wore the white man's clothes.
Yep.
But when they look at him, they call him a white man.
That was dumb as hell.
Stupid.
Right.
Just stupid. Letting you know that is not about that. The what they say? The customs of the European. That's what they were taught. They were taught the customs of the white man, the oppressor.
It kills your brain cells, son. It
Go.
kills your brain cells.
It was ingrained in the system. It was about 11 years. It was taken from them. There was no mother, no father figures. Nobody said good night or come and see you if you were sick or something. Nobody looked after you except that they put us in a big playroom similar to this dining room, and we sort of looked after ourselves.
Hey, get Exodus 22 and 22 real quick.
Damn.
They said there was no mother, father coming
figure,
in to,
nothing.
to say good night, kiss
Right.
you, love you.
If you was sick.
See you in the morning, you good, you're feeling good, you're eating
Right.
good, make sure you're all right. There was none of that, right? These children had no mother nor father, man. You know what that do to a kid? To have to raise themselves, basically.
Yep.
No loving, no kindness,
They don't know that affection.
They don't know no affection.
Come
They
on,
don't know
man.
how to handle their emotions, so they turn out to be drug addicts when they get angry abusers.
Read that. Read Exodus 22 and 22.
The book of Exodus, chapter 22 and verse 22.
Read out. Read.
Ye shall not afflict any widow or fatherless child.
God, that's a law in the Bible. And you white folks, that's all you did. God says you should not afflict any fatherless child. Y'all took these children from their fathers, their mothers, and then hit them with 136 years of affliction.
What's wrong with you?
That's a law in the Bible. Watch this. Read on.
Verse 23. If thou afflict them in
If you do afflict them in any wise, read.
and they cry at all unto me.
And that's what we do right now. We crying to the Lord.
That's right.
Because we afflicted. You stole us from our parents. You took us from our lands.
Right.
You made us fatherless. You made widows out of our mothers. You made widows out of our aunties, our sisters, and we crying out to the Lord right now. Watch what the Lord say. Read it again.
If thou afflict them in any wise, and they cry at all unto me,
Read.
I will surely hear their cry.
God says he going to hear our cry. He going to hear the cries of the afflicted, the cries of the widows, the cries of the fatherless children. God says he going to hear. Read.
And my wrath.
And my what?
And my wrath.
God says my anger. Read.
Shall wax hot.
Go ahead.
And I will kill you with the sword.
I will kill you with the sword. Read on.
And your wives shall be widows.
Your wives should be widows.
And your children fatherless.
And your children going to be fatherless. That's
right.
justice.
That's right. True justice.
That's
right there.
true justice.
Yep.
Thus said the Lord
precept.
God of Israel. Go back.
What was going on across this country that so many children were being taken? So many children were being put into residential schools. And my thing is, if they were such a wonderful school, they were models, everybody should have had them. Non-native Europeans, everybody should have had a residential school. Not just one race of people. It's a very racist policy. But that's what the intent was. It was to kill the Indian and the child, and pretty much they've done it. So you get punished for being who you are.
It's a school where you were punished for the least of infraction thing. the punishments were severe.
And punishment for things you never did. You never did them. I don't think I ever did anything wrong that would deserve a strap. Never. And yet you got it.
You never knew when you went over the line. They let you know by giving you a beating. Beating sounds so simple, but it was more than that. It was terror, that accompanied each beating.
Fort Albany, when you have children put in an electric chair for entertainment or for
Watch this, y'all.
punishment, those are crimes against humanity.
This the part where we really want to touch. They used to put children in electric chairs for doing things like speaking the native language, for not wanting to speak English, for not wanting to worship white Jesus.
Don't that sound like what happened in 1619 to the black man?
That's exactly what happened.
For reading, for speaking.
That's exactly what happened. Go ahead, watch this, y'all. Watch this.
And yet, different things. And I've heard of other guys having electric currents.
And they brought us into a place they called the press room, where most of the beatings went on, And we went in there one at a time and got a good shellacking with a leather strap, Like, everybody was afraid of it, but everybody knew they were going to get it sooner or later,
Just remember them crying. There was a lot of crying in this place, a lot of tears. And yet we find out it was like thousands upon thousands of children that were being abused.
Despite the beatings and the ferocity of some of the beatings, we still defied the authority to run away.
See, that's the native. See, that's the Gad in you, bro. That's the Gad. A Gad say, "I'll give it down. How many times they get beat? We gonna defy authority. We gonna run away every chance we get."
That's right.
That's that Geronimo in you, man. You know what I'm saying? See, Levi.
Bring it
out. No. Levi. Hey, I take that back. Levi fought. All praise to the Most High.
Judah, bro. What you talking about?
Bro, you know you live, right? So you just
hey, shalom, y'all. Most High in Christ bless you.
So hold on.
Officer Uriel from Tribe of Judah. That's right.
What? Wow, bro.
Yes.
Amazing. So you leave Miami and you leave Levi with Miami.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Wow, bro. Hey, you need to check your spirit, man. You a tribe hopper. You gotta watch out for them tribe hopper.
Nope.
Let's go.
The boys' side housed over 60 boys. Despite this number, each of us were lonely beyond despair. From within, we each had our own battles to fight. We were lost, lonely, scared, and confused, but our biggest battle was to keep our secrets. Our lives were shrouded in secrecy. No one could know what we all collectively knew. That kids were
all
being
right,
raped.
that's it. We're gonna move on. So if y'all don't know, there's a documentary.
Very heavy.
Very heavy, man. Yep. It really explains. It's like a 47-minute document. It goes over the curses of Gad. It goes over, man. When the Lord say you're gonna be fatherless, the Lord say I'm gonna afflict you. Give me that. The Lord say all of that. He meant that thing, man. Give me Deuteronomy 28.
And this ain't even in America.
Right, this is in Canada.
This all of this went down in Canada.
But watch this. Even America had boarding schools.
Yeah. The Carlisle Institute.
Yeah, America had the same things. So we, right now they want to say Canada because Canada has been exposed because Canada has been pushing to the world that they had nothing to do with racism.
Right, they're the least racist country.
Right. You want to leave racism. You want a better life. Go to Canada.
Where rainbows, flowers, and lilies grow upon every step.
Yeah, and at the end of the rainbow, you'll find a leper. What do they call it?
Leprechaun.
A leprechaun jar of Skittles
with the pot of gold.
That's what they push in Canada, man.
What?
That's what they push openly. Secretly,
They the same damn devils that America's made of. The same devils that Russia, China, all these other nations hate our guts. They the same devils.
Yep.
That's right.
Get that. And verse 41.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, and verse 41.
Bring it out.
Thou shalt beget sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them.
Go ahead.
For they shall go.
They shall what?
They shall go.
What do you mean when it says you should not enjoy your sons and daughters? You enjoy your sons and daughters' growth. You enjoy watching them say their first words.
Right.
You enjoy that bonding moment where you make eye contact and they start laughing and starting to really know who you are. Yeah. Starting to follow you around. Starting to, reach for you, cry for you. Those are enjoyments of parenting.
Yeah.
Those are enjoyments. Teaching them how to do things like fishing, riding a bike. You know what I'm saying? Like stuff like that. I know during this time is cropping. You know what I'm saying? Planting, harvesting, teaching your son how to go hunt. You know what I'm saying? Teaching him how to catch fish, teaching him how to feed, provide for his family.
Right. The
teaching your the fundamentals. Teaching your daughter how to sew.
Right.
Teaching your daughter how to, how to how to cook, how to clean. Those are the enjoyments.
Showing them a certain type of teas to make for remedies and stuff like that.
Passing down generational information.
Right.
Passing down customs. Passing down traditions to your children. That's an enjoyment. Read it again.
Thou shalt beget sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them.
God says you would not enjoy none of it. Meaning you wouldn't be able to do those things that brings enjoyment as a mother and father concerning their children.
Damn.
Read.
But thou shalt not enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity.
For they shall go into slavery. God says you ain't going to enjoy that. I mean, you're not going to be able to be a father. You're not going to be able to be a mother. And this is another thing that the white man made us deadbeat fathers. But now in 2020, now they put child support on deadbeat fathers.
How, Sway?
Which makes no sense. You stole our kids from us when we wanted to be fathers.
Right.
It was impossible for us to be fathers. It was impossible for us to raise our kids.
That's cold,
it was impossible.
That's cold.
And now that we are accustomed to living that lifestyle, because it's embedded in our it's generationally passed down.
Right.
Now you say, you know what, you niggas, we gonna make you be a father.
Hey, but you know what's crazy though?
After you have been stripped, you have been stripped of the knowledge of a father.
Damn.
Go ahead.
God is not going to hold you
that's heavy.
guilty.
What I was gonna say was that's been embedded in them the whole time. To play the villain and switch it to play the hero at the end.
Yeah,
they play the villain in the beginning.
And
Take your
switch
kids, and then now they try to switch it and be the hero.
Now they're the hero.
Oh, father, child support. Oh, be a father to your child.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Now they got laws. They got laws now that if you don't pay child support, and the price, the amount given to a point, you can go to jail. You can lose your license.
Yep, you face jail.
You can get fined.
Right.
So now you got to pay back child support. Now you can get fined by the court, by the state.
What's wrong with you?
Now you can't travel. Now they can come get you.
Yep.
Tell you, man, it's an evil system, man. It's an evil, evil, evil system. It's like me taking your car, stealing your car, knowing you got to go to work. Hey, I'm stealing your car. Now you don't go to work. You lose your job.
Right.
10 years later, I give you back your car with no tires on it.
Right.
It's just rims. And tell you, you better take your ass to work in your car.
Right.
Wait a minute. You jacked it up. Now you want me to use it. That makes no sense.
And better yet, still say you owe payments on this car.
Right, you owe payments on this car.
For 10 years ago, you still ain't pay on this car.
Let's go.
You stole it.
Let's go. Go to the next one. We almost done. Dang, it's funny. No, yes. Next post. Play it.
Authorities in Canada have uncovered the remains of 215 children, some as young as 3 years old, at the site of a...
Authorities in Canada has uncovered over 200 remains of little children under the school.
Oh, that's nice.
Fire for that. Y'all need to burn.
I want y'all to understand something, man.
Y'all
The
need to
same
burn. That's
atrocities,
wicked as
man.
hell.
Same
Wicked as
atrocities.
hell.
Go ahead, let play.
former residential school for Indigenous students. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau on Friday described the discovery as heartbreaking. The children were students at the Kamloops Indian Residential School in British Columbia, which closed in 1978, according to the Tk'emlúps-Tissaquappum Nation. Chief Roseanne Casimir said in a statement that their remains were found with the help of a ground-penetrating radar specialist. In 2015, a 6-year investigation into Canada's now-defunct residential school system found that it committed cultural genocide, forcibly separating Indigenous children from their families. The report documented horrific physical abuse, rape, malnutrition, and other atrocities suffered by many of the 150,000 children who attended the schools, which were typically run by Christian churches from the 1840s to the 1990s.
Stop. Give me that
Christian
Deuteronomy 28,
churches.
man. I'm telling you, man.
Christian
This man
churches.
gotta go. It said they were ran by Christian churches. They were ran by Christians. Give me verse 60.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, and verse 64.
Bring it out.
And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people
Go ahead.
from one end of the earth, even unto the other. And there thou shalt serve other gods.
Thou shalt serve other gods. Read.
Which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone.
Even wood and stone. The Lord said we was going to serve other gods, even wood and stone. That wood is dealing with Islam.
Right.
I'm sorry, the wood dealing with
With
Christianity.
Christianity.
That stone is dealing with Islam. God is telling you that these two main religions would be the religions that our oppressors would beat into us.
The dominating religions.
Every Israelite tribe that was conquered, each conqueror either brought Islam or Christianity.
Bring it out. Whether it was Catholicism, Seventh-day Adventist, whatever branch of Christianity
Baptist,
it was,
Pentecostal,
Christianity.
Northern Kingdom, the majority of Northern Kingdom,
Catholicism.
Yep. That's that wood. Judah, Benjamin, Levi, Pentecostal, Baptist.
Right.
But a lot of our brothers, we think when we talk about still in Africa, that Isaiah 11:11, majority, 90% of them were conquered by those that forced Islam onto them.
The sub-Saharan slave trade.
Yeah, the doggone Arabs
Yeah.
who got called Ishmael. Islam and Ham, the Hamites over there. Islam they forced on our people. So when we look at documentaries like this, and it says that the boarding schools were funded by Christian groups, that's Bible prophecy.
Right.
That's Bible prophecy that the nation of Israel would be conquered and forced into a religion of Christianity. That's Bible prophecy, letting you know that who you are. Your history is right in this Bible. Go back.
It found more than 4,100 children died while attending the schools. That figure does not appear to include the previously undocumented discovery of the 215 children buried under what was once Canada's largest residential school. In 2008, the Canadian government formally apologized for the residential school system. In a tweet on Friday, Trudeau called the news a painful reminder of that dark and shameful chapter of our country's history. The Tk'emlúps-Tissaquappum Nation said it was reaching out to the home communities of the victims. They expect to have preliminary findings by mid-June.
Let's read the article.
Remains of 215 children found at former indigenous school site in Canada. The remains of 215 children, some as young as 3 years old, were found at the site of former residential school for indigenous children, a discovery Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau described as heartbreaking on Friday. The children were students at the Kamloops Indian Residential School in British Columbia that closed in 1978. According to the Kamloops Te Sequapk Nation, which said that the remains were found with the help of a ground-penetrating radar specialist. We had a knowing in our community that we were able to verify. To Kamloops Te Sequapk Chief Roseanne Casimir said in a statement, "At this time, we have more questions than answers." Canada's residential school system, which forcibly separated indigenous children from their families, constituted cultural genocide.
Cultural genocide. Go ahead.
A 6-year investigation into the now defunct system found in 2015. The report documented horrible physical abuse, rape, malnutrition, and other atrocities suffered by many of the 150,000 children who attended the schools.
What's this?
Typically run by Christian churches.
Christian churches. What's the timeline, y'all?
On behalf of Ottawa from the 1840s to the 1990s.
Told you. 1990s.
Dang, that's crazy.
1990s.
This was happening while most of us was still alive.
Yeah, most of us was
babies.
toddlers.
Right, and that's crazy because you know how I say 215 bodies was found, and that's still counting. There's more than that.
Oh, you best believe that's just what they reported.
Right,
but they gonna find more if they go into all these boarding schools.
Oh yeah,
they gonna find the same, but they ain't gonna do that. They ain't gonna report all that. They ain't gonna report it. Because what they did was they tried to murder off a nation of people.
Right.
But little do they know. Give me Hosea 1 and 10. Little do they know that there is a God. There is a God. Give me that Hosea 1 and 10.
There's parents that'll never, ever see their kids again.
Yeah, the parents died. Bro, you understand something? The parents died crying and begging to see their children again.
Right.
They lived a miserable life after their children was taken from them.
Right.
How can you be happy? How can you find joy?
Right.
Your children was snatched from you.
Come on
How
now,
can you
dog.
find joy, peace in life? You can't. 1 and 10.
The book of Hosea, chapter 1 and verse 10.
Bring it out.
Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea.
God says we as the sand of the sea, they can't kill us all. They can try, and they are still trying today with this stuff. I can't even say the word because YouTube gonna cut us off.
Right.
I can't even say the word.
Right.
I can't even say the V word.
How, Sway?
Because YouTube up. They're trying to stop people from getting. What's the word I can say?
Stop it. Get some help.
Inoculated. They trying to stop people from getting inoculated. They trying to stop people from stop having babies. That's what it does. It sterilizes you. Anyway, keep going. Read.
Which cannot be measured.
I couldn't help myself. Go ahead.
Which cannot be measured, nor numbered. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people.
In the place where it was said, you are not my people.
There it shall be said unto them, ye are the sons of the living God.
And here on the Natives Hour, we going to let you know that you so-called Native Indians, your oppression proves that you are the sons of and daughters of God.
Yep.
That's
Your condition proves that you are the sons and daughters of God. All of that proves it. Your history timeline, the atrocities that happened to the so-called Native American Indians prove that we are the daughters and sons of God. And you're going to hear that right here in America. Because it said in that place where it said you are nothing, you are not the sons of God, you're going to learn who you are. Right here in America,
KKK.
America, KKK.
That's right.
Go back. Go back. Yeah.
The main administrative building at the Kamloops Indian Residential School is seen in Kamloops, British Columbia, Canada, circa 1970. A new classroom building at the Kamloops Indian Residential School is seen in Kamloops. A monument to the survivors of the former Kamloops Indian Residential School is pictured in front of the school administration building after the remains.
So the school is still standing, bro.
It's crazy.
It's still standing. Look at the date, May 29th, 2021.
Halfway.
That was a few days ago.
But you know what it is? It's a monument to the survivors, as though this was war. This was war.
Yeah, it was war.
This was war to live, to survive.
A heavy point.
And that's why I say a monument to the survivors of the former. And you know, like they make monuments to those that die and those that pass. But this is to the survivors. That means that school was horrible.
Yeah.
Damn.
That was a concentration camp.
Right. Damn. That we'll never know about.
Never know about. Go ahead.
A man stands with his son in front of a monument to the survivors of the former.
I can't believe the school is still standing.
That thing should have been burnt down.
Yeah,
bulldozed. All that.
That lets you know Esau want to remember their achievements. Go ahead.
The hell is this?
And even worse yet, they want us to remember this where you belong.
Yeah, yep. You can't get no higher than this.
They want our mental to be messed up every time we look at stuff like that.
The book of Psalms, chapter 10 and verse 16.
Bring it out.
The Lord is king forever and ever.
We don't.
The heathen are perished out of his land.
The Lord gonna destroy the heathens out of our land. Read on.
The Lord, thou hast heard the desire of the humble.
The humble is us, the Israelites, that's keeping God's commandments. Read.
Thou wilt prepare their heart. Thou wilt cause thine ear to hear.
Go ahead.
To judge the fatherless.
To judge the fatherless.
And the oppressed.
And the oppressed.
That the man of the earth may no more oppress.
That the man of the earth may no more oppress.
Oh.
I said, this man ain't gonna oppress no more. This man, it ain't gonna be no more oppression.
That's a cold.
When these nations, when Christ returned to redeem the 12 tribes of Israel, ain't no more oppression. Won't be no more oppression coming from the blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans. Coming to us, won't be no more oppression. Won't be no more boarding school stories.
Right.
Won't be no more lynching stories. Won't be no more injustice. Won't be no more what they call it, police brutality.
Right.
Won't be no more laws preventing us from getting ahead, from succeeding.
Right.
Won't be no more redlining.
Yep.
Won't be none of that.
Jim Crow, all that's gone.
There will be no more oppression. You ready? Go ahead.
My name is Heelthit. I graduated out of Kamloops Indian Residential School in 1968. I suffered abuse at the residential school, physical, mental, and spiritual abuse. It was sad that I was like on a roller coaster of emotions since Thursday, from tears to anguish to anger. The grounds that I walked in, probably there were corpses under my feet.
That's
when
crazy.
you say, were you shocked? I'll tell you, it's been shock after shock after shock. You know, the highest form of respect we give other human beings is to listen to. And then say, what are we going to do? And sit down together and say, here's what we're going to do now, because we've come to a mutual agreement what's going to work here. See, the system up until today is we're going to do this for you and it's going to be good for you. Because that's all they know. I get it. That's all society knows. They don't know indigenous methodologies of healing or the effectiveness of it. Survivors, first off, need to be supported. Long term, not just today and tomorrow when this news feed is
that's heavy. Because that's what the white man always does. It comes out, what they do? A formal apology.
Right.
I want to apologize for the atrocities that my fathers did to you. Hey, hold that. Give me Isaiah 14, man.
Yeah.
Give me Isaiah 14.
This is something new. This is something that literally just came out. Something literally just came out.
It just came out to us. But the white man always knew about it. But these were historical what they call it?
Events.
Right. Huh? Right. Historical sites. These buildings that have been closed, that's why I said, damn, they still standing?
Right.
Because the way everybody make it seem like, oh, nobody knew about them. But
Right.
they still standing.
People drive by it every day. They know about it.
Right. Go ahead.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 14 and verse 21.
Bring it out.
Prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers.
God says, prepare slaughter for the iniquities of their fathers. Why? Because they're still walking in the light of the iniquity of their fathers.
Right. They're still reaping the benefit.
What the iniquities their fathers did has been passed down through the actions of their children. Their children is still fulfilling the actions of iniquity that their fathers did.
That's a cold.
It's the same thing.
So that's just like this, right? You have a kid. You raise your child to let them know that them niggas and them spicks ain't shit.
Ain't nothing.
Ain't nothing. Excuse my language. And you raise them up to be like that. They raise their kids to be the same way. They raise their kids to be the same way. So therefore, there is no change in them at all.
The cycle of iniquity never stopped.
Think God is not going to hold you guilty for that?
The cycle of iniquity, generational wise, with the white man and the white woman, because the white woman is the most evilest woman on the face of the planet.
Bring it
Back then, these white women used to have our brothers and sisters lynched for no reason. You know what they call today? Karen.
Oh, damn. Oh, yeah.
That spirit of, hey, what was that white chick that had Emmett Till? What was her name? Look it up. That white chick that had Emmett Till murdered. And then years later, when on her deathbed,
she bought it out.
She said, yeah, I lied about it.
Yeah, she bought it out.
Thinking that she gonna receive mercy by the Lord because she told her fault right before her last breath. Yeah, pull that up. The white woman who had Emmett Till murdered over a lie. I say, man, the white woman is the most dangerous woman. The white woman is the most dangerous woman on the planet.
Oh yeah.
Hey, do y'all remember? Wasn't that Caroline Bryant?
Right.
That's her. Till was accused of flirting with or whistling at Bryant, which she came out and said she lied about it.
What?
Hey, what's that?
That's horrible, man. So long it take.
I was about to say something. I forgot. All right, let's move on. Go back.
For somebody to be able to hold up a lie that long and don't feel no type of way about it, all the stuff, atrocities that happen right behind that, and you don't care. Yeah, you are the iniquity of your fathers.
Yeah, you are still functioning in the prosperity of that iniquity.
Who raised you?
You still functioning. You still living it. You still living the best life. You still got the best benefits based off of the iniquity of your fathers, in which you are still fulfilling.
Right.
That's why you got to pay. Yeah. You have to pay for that. Because all y'all knew in Canada that these schools were still standing.
Yep.
That the atrocities, they had records. I think all this stuff coming out now. They got records of all these things going on, the atrocity. We think that Gad was just speaking against it. Gad been speaking, the so-called Nehemians, Gad been speaking against this since they closed in the 1900s.
Yep. Just recently, too.
Just
recently.
Right, it just came out recently.
Right.
Damn!
It just came out. The news just came out. But they've been speaking against this for hundreds of years, man. Mothers been crying, fathers going to the authorities. Hey, my kids are being taken. What can I do? Nothing. For hundreds of years. But now everybody want to make it seem like, oh, nobody knew about it.
Right.
Nobody knew about it. Go back. Almost done.
They were monsters that did this. Kamloops Residential School survivor speaks out. Warning, some of the details in this story may be disturbing to some readers. Discretion is advised. Sahil Thut said it took years to heal and find peace after he graduated from the Kamloops Indian Residential School in 1968. A member of the Stat-At-Imik First Nation in BC's interior, Thut said over the years, he has suffered from many nightmares about his time spent there.
So he has what you call it,
PTSD.
post-traumatic slave syndrome. It said it took him years to recover from that stuff. Go back up a little bit, where it says it said it took years to heal and find peace after he graduated from the Kamloops Indian.
But watch this though.
School.
Watch how many years it took.
That's crazy.
Watch how many years and how he coped with what happened. Go ahead, read on.
Wow.
There's many documented stories. Mine's not hardly any different, he told Global News. We were hungry. We were afraid. It was a paramilitary existence. Everything had to be just so. If it wasn't, you would be punished. Thut said he experienced physical, mental, and spiritual abuse at the school. It took me 14 years after I left.
Ooh, 14. Go ahead.
I became an addict, an alcoholic, to finally face those events and get them out of my system.
And that's just one of 150,000 of one school.
Come on, man.
And not even that. That's just one person and the way they dealt with it. You know what I'm saying? There's many other ways that
they all probably think about it.
Addicts.
When you look at the condition of the so-called Native American Indians today, 80% of them are alcoholics.
Right.
80% of them are drug addicts.
Yep.
Why? We think it's just, they're horrible people. No, they're trying to cope with the atrocities that happened to them.
Yep.
Damn.
Through generational, what they call it? Generational curses. Go back.
Generational genocide.
My feelings today are for the ones who did not find the healing road. Last week, Kamloops Sequep announced the discovery of the remains of 215 children after ground-penetrating radar confirmed what members had long said about the former school.
What members had long said about the former school. So they telling you, we've been saying this for years.
I hate it here.
We've been saying this for years. Go ahead.
Which had been the largest institution of its kind in Canada. The school was operated mostly under a Catholic order.
Catholicism, that's that wood that we read in Deuteronomy 28. Read.
Called the Oblates of Mary Immaculate, founded in 1816. It was in operation until 1969, when it was taken over by the federal government and then used as a day school until 1978.
So the federal government took over.
And it was still doing the same thing.
It was still doing the same damn thing.
Think God is not going to hold you guilty for that?
Go ahead.
Wow.
Hey, get Luke 12 real quick.
That's amazing.
I'm telling you, man, this man is the devil.
That's amazing.
You can't escape these curses, man. Get Luke 12 and read verse 2.
The book of Luke, chapter 12 and verse 2. For there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed.
Go ahead.
Neither hid that shall not be known.
God says all of this stuff that's going on that we don't know about, God says, I'm going to uncover it.
Right.
There's nothing covered that should not be revealed. I'm going to uncover this thing. Read on.
Therefore, whatsoever ye have spoken in darkness shall be heard in the light.
Go ahead.
And that which ye have spoken in the ear, in closets, shall be proclaimed upon the housetops.
So we got to understand some of these last days, the Lord going to reveal this thing to his people.
Right.
Because go to Thessalonians. Go to Thessalonians. No, they won't.
2 Thessalonians 2 and verse 3.
Get to the point.
The book of 2 Thessalonians, chapter 2 and verse 3.
Bring it out.
Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first.
The falling away was slavery. Go ahead.
And that man of sin.
That man of sin.
Be revealed.
Be revealed. The white man is the man of sin. Watch this.
The son of perdition.
The son of hell. The absolute worst. You can't get no worse than this man.
Right.
Bring it out.
The lowest scum of the earth.
Right. The Lord said that man got to be revealed to all tribes.
Right.
Because some tribes still think that this man is God.
Come on now, dog.
And he's being revealed. He's being revealed for the atrocities that he's done to our people, for the wickedness that he continues to do today.
And this is nothing, y'all. This is just what the Lord is allowing us to read, allowing us to learn about.
Right.
To help us in our understanding when we go out and get our brothers and sisters. When we go out and raise the 12 tribes of Israel, the Lord has given us ammo. Here you go. Use this.
Right.
Use this. Bring this to their remembrance. Because that's our job. Bring this to your remembrance so that you may repent. Repent and keep the laws of God so we can get the hell up out of here.
Yep.
That's
so
right.
that our oppressors become the oppressed.
Let's go.
Go back. Go back to the article.
Thut, who now lives in Manitoba, told Global News he remembers walking those grounds every day and feels incredible sadness about the news of the discovery. The big sadness, of course, is the families that the children come from, he said. The ones who never saw their children again, who were never told basically what happened.
Yep.
The Catholic Church has so far refused.
The Catholic Church, read,
has so far refused to issue an official apology for its role in residential
y'all
schools.
see that? They said the Catholic Church won't even repent.
Apologize, right. Right.
They won't even repent for what they did. And they supposed to be God-fearing people, right?
Halfway.
They supposed to be God-fearing people that let you know that what they did, they believed to be righteous. They murdered us. In their eyes, it was righteous. They killed the Indian, saved the man. In their eyes, that was righteous.
Hell no.
They enslaved the nation of people. In the religion of Catholicism, that was righteous. Give me Jeremiah. Give me Jeremiah, chapter 5, verse 1. We're going to end it on that. We're going to end on this, but we're going to end on a commercial. And
I was going to say that next little piece of paragraph was actually pretty heavy.
Yeah, no, but we're going to read it.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying we're going to end on a commercial.
Oh, praise.
Read Lamentations 5 and 1. I said Jeremiah?
Yeah, you said Jeremiah.
The book of Lamentations.
Same author. Go ahead.
The book of Lamentations, chapter 5 and verse 1.
Bring it out.
Remember, O Lord, what is come upon us.
Remember, O Lord, what has come upon us.
Consider and behold our reproach.
That's what we pray. Our, very possessive. Our reproach. Remember, O Lord. Read.
Our inheritance is turned to strangers.
Our inheritance is turned to strangers. These people came to our land,
right,
and forced us into their way. That makes no sense. This white man is so arrogant, he would go to Mars and try to, quote unquote, civilize Martians.
Halfway.
Try to change the life of someone that's been living that way for centuries and prospering into their way.
Tell them that they're indigenous.
Yeah, y'all indigenous.
Y'all savages.
Y'all savages. We gonna change how y'all, this how y'all supposed to act. So this white man is just arrogant. Read.
Our inheritance is turned to strangers.
Go ahead.
Our houses to aliens.
Watch this.
We are orphans.
We are what?
Orphans.
The Bible said that the Israelites will become orphans. We are orphans. Read.
And fatherless.
And fatherless.
Our mothers are as widows.
Our mother. Did not we read that in Exodus 22?
Yeah.
About how God says, don't afflict the widow or the fatherless.
Right.
Lamentations is telling you that we become orphans and fatherless, and we are afflicted.
That's a cold.
We are afflicted. God says that's what we're going through right now. That's what we're going through. Go back to the article. And finish that.
The Catholic Church has so far refused to issue an official apology for its role in residential schools, even when Prime Minister Justin Trudeau asked Pope Francis during a visit to the Vatican in 2017. They were monsters that did this, Lutz said. To bury children as young as 3 years old?
3 years old.
Damn.
That means they were murdering 3-year-old children
in unmarked graves.
Unmarked graves.
So there was just
didn't give them no proper burial.
Right.
God is not gonna hold you said, they was digging a ditch and just throwing them in there.
And then they'll cover it up.
Like they was trash, like they were nothing.
Oh, he died. All right, well, cover it up.
Remember, it says the brothers and sisters that was going through what they were going through in that school,
right,
was now malnutrition,
right.
So a lot of them died off of starvation.
Right.
Damn, that's a painful death.
Yeah,
a lot of them died. A lot of them were raped. They probably was raped and murdered.
Yep. And that's why when you reading the articles and you watching the videos, it's saying the survivors of the school, because to graduate out of something like that is a great feat.
Yep.
To graduate, like,
it's
damn, I made
great
it.
Achievement.
God, Lee, I ain't think I was gonna live through that.
It's like going to war and then going back for 2 deployments in the heat of battle,
right?
And everybody else die around you, but you make it back home alive
with no food, no guns, no weapons, nothing.
You just lucky. You just by the grace of God you made it.
That's crazy.
Go back.
To bury children as young as 3 years old in unmarked grave? That's the true sign of a monster. When the government and organizations take responsibility for what happened, he said, that is when true healing can begin.
And that'll never happen.
Right.
They'll never take total responsibility. And if they do take total responsibility, every last descendant of the white race needs to be put in chains.
Yep. And that's why it takes Christ to have to come and do that thing, because they'll never do it. They'll never do it. Christ's going to have to come and put them in a subjection.
Hey, last scripture. Give me that Revelations. That Revelations, man. Here on the natives, our home of the 10 tribes, we're going to give y'all, thus saith the Lord. Give me that Revelations, he that leadeth into captivity. Give me that. Give me that right there. Go ahead.
The book of Revelation, chapter 13 and verse 10.
Bring it out.
He that leadeth into captivity shall go.
Shall what?
Shall go into captivity.
God, that's the judgment, y'all.
Right.
That's the judgment for all of these white folks that think they gonna get away with afflicting God's orphans, afflicting God's widows, afflicting God's fatherless. They think they're gonna get away with afflicting God's prophets. They think they're gonna get away with changing the image. They think they're gonna get away with using our records and twisting it to say that the white man is God. They think they gonna get away with boarding schools, with slavery, with lynchings, with fires, with burnings, with slave auctions, with auction blocks,
unmarked graves,
with syphilis, with smallpox. They think they gonna get away, man, with colonialism. Did I say that right? Colonialism?
Yeah.
Hey, all praises. They think they gonna get away with that.
Right.
Read it again.
He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity.
He that leadeth into captivity, your ass is grass. You gonna go into captivity. Read.
He that killeth with the sword.
He that killeth with the sword. The white man's blessing in Genesis was what? He shall live by the sword. Yep. That was your blessing. Yep. God says, oh, okay. He that killeth with the sword, read,
must be killed with the sword.
You gotta die.
That's a cold precept.
Die. And we ain't killing nobody. We ain't killing nobody. The Lord gonna do the job. When Christ return, it's gonna be heads rolling everywhere. Yep. Read on.
Here is the patience and the faith of the saints.
And this is for those who know what's coming, and that's keeping God's laws and preparing their soul, preparing their minds, preparing themselves for the second coming of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ to fulfill what is written in the Bible.
We used to scream black power while heroin was pushed, but at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission. Minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold. From Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.